Me why I haven't worked in 13 years.
I don't need you to work. Your job is here. It's your work. You mean like go clock in somewhere to make money?
Yeah.
That's not your job, man.
So you don't mind that I don't work?
You do work, babe. Your job is to be a wife and be a mom. It's your job, dude.
I was just asking you why.
Why you not making money?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't need you to do that. I'll make enough money for all of us. That's not your job, bro. I don't need you here for the finances.
That's true.
I've never needed you for finances.
Uh,
It's not your job.
no.
It's my job.
Okay.
If it gets to a point where you don't have enough money, I'll just go make more money.
I love you.
I love you too, man.
You look so grown, man.
43, baby. Look at that. Look at that.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Do y'all know how much hate this man and this woman got for that video? You would think that, and I'm sure they were thinking when they made this video, it was going to be something that people could appreciate, but they received nothing but hate for this video. Almost nothing but hate. I ain't gonna say nothing, but the overwhelming majority of people came at them on two fronts. I'm going to talk about the lesser front first and then the major front after that. The first front, the lesser front that people came at them was, of course, oh, she's white. He married a white woman. He would never have been able to do that with a black woman, or he wouldn't do that with a black woman. The ideas are virtually the same, that he either wouldn't be allowed to do that to a black woman, or he wouldn't he wouldn't allow himself to be that way towards a black woman. Instead of falling into the whole idiocy of racism, in his subsequent video, he just explained that it's just about love. The way that him and his wife met was a long story about how they just weren't necessarily looking, oh, I'm looking for a white man, I'm looking for a white woman, I'm looking for a black man. It's just two people who found each other and fell in love with each other. And his way of thinking was, as the man, I'm going to take care of my family. He wasn't looking to marry uh, anyone of color, based on that color, I should say. He was just looking for a wife. Simple as that. She just happens to be the one that he met and fell in love with, and she happened to be white. But the black women in the comments was losing their everlasting mind, saying that he wouldn't do that to a black woman. But the character of the man says that he would have done that to whomever he fell in love with. Why is it so hard for y'all to believe that? It's ridiculous to think so. I myself think in the same category as that man does. Now, have there been times where I've asked my wife to, if she could help, because I wasn't able to go out and make more money, or I'm running a business and running that business doesn't allow for me more time to go out and make more money? Sure, that's happened. Less than 3 years of my entire 50 years of life has that been the case. But the point is, that's what black women. It's never been a white woman. So the idea that a black man would not do that towards a black woman is bullshit. It's a lie. And I know many other black men who are married to black women who do the same thing. Now, the second and biggest complaint is that these women were going at this man and this woman, telling the woman, you need to have your side hustle and have your own money, because when he leave you and he just trying to control you, look, I'm sorry for the pain that you went through. But not everybody's out here trying to control you. And not everybody's out here trying to leave when they leave you. I understand the divorce rate is incredibly high. But part of the reason why the divorce rate is incredibly high is because if you're already looking for the divorce, preparing for a divorce, guess what you're going to get? A goddamn divorce. Now, in their subsequent video to those types of comments, I love the fact of how he explained it. He said that it is his responsibility to go out there and make the money. And as the part of the responsibility, he has to control how the finances run in the house. right? That's just being responsible. And with responsibility, there are levels of controls that come in, but it's not the control that these women think that it is. So in my own situations throughout my entire life, except for one time frame that I was with somebody, and I will never repeat that again, that type of situation. And that is, I have a certain way that money is managed and budgeted within my household. If a woman doesn't agree to it, that's fine. You just won't be a part of my household. But the way that it is sectioned out, I use a 70-10-10-10 program where 70% of all the money that comes into the house, and as I said, for the 53 years of my life, the time frames that I have been with somebody, the overwhelming majority of that time frame, the only money that was coming into the house was the money that I made. But when there was the up to 3 years, no more than 3 years of additional money coming into the house, all the money goes into this same pot. She gets an allowance, I get an allowance. I changed the name of it to expense account because some of y'all lose your shit over the idea of it ain't giving me no allowance. I'm not a child. Titles, names, doesn't really matter. You get an expense account, I get an expense account. Go do whatever the hell you want with it. 70% of the money that's left over goes towards our necessities, mortgage, things like that, food, your hair, your nails, clothing, utilities, car notes, insurance. 10% goes into fun. That's where we go on dates. 10% goes into investing, and we don't mess with the return. And then 10% goes into savings. It's very simple. If your investments start making enough money, or you're making enough money, there have been time frames where I was 50, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, where it only required 50% of my pay in order for us to live our lifestyle. So extra money went into another additional savings account, and things of that nature. But the point being is that with leadership and with the responsibility of being the provider, then there are certain conditions. I would say he used the term, he reused their term control, but that's fine. But there are certain controls, conditions, and that's all conditions are, just controls in order to function as a family. And as the responsible member, it is his responsibility, if you want a leader, to put in place those types of conditions. It's funny, women oftentimes don't want a man to, they want a man to lead as long as he lead in the way that she wants him to lead. When really, all you want him to do is provide and protect. Most women don't want men to lead. They just want men to provide and protect. Most women they don't want a man who comes in and say, this is how we're going to run the finances in the house. They don't want that. They want to have their money and go do whatever they want with it. It amazes me how many women that when I was dating was like, well, you should pay for everything and then I should get to spend my money how I want to spend my money. That should be my personal money. What foreign ass planet were you born on that you think that that's okay, that works that way, that you add nothing to the house other than your presence, because your presence is surely not enough. Even when as far as did the 50-50 type thing with a young lady. But then she was fine with the 50-50 when she made more money than me. But then what? Less than a year later, I'm making more money than her. And all of a sudden now, well, I think you should pay more money since you make more money and you're the man. No, you want a 50-50. So since you didn't want to go 100-100, like I normally do, and you want to go 50-50, we're going to stay with this 50-50. You don't like it when it doesn't go your way, when it's not to your advantage. And the only people who disagree with this kind of mentality is the ones who always want things towards their advantage. You don't belong in a relationship if that's your mindset. And if your mindset is that when he leaves you, you don't belong in a relationship, because your reticular cortex and the way your behavior patterns work, if you are focused on or contemplating or always focused on thinking about preparing for him to leave you, you will unknowingly or even knowingly do things to cause him to leave you. And then that will reinforce your idea. Every idea you have, whatever you focus on, life will reinforce that. So if you focus on him leaving you, he will. But you are probably most likely the cause. So y'all have a great day. And always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.